Hey everyone, welcome back to the top 100. We're into the top 40 now, so that's exciting. 40 through 31. Yeah, happy to get into these. I own all 10 of these games, so that's great. And without further ado, here we go. Number 40. Oh gosh, before it's gonna break my arm. It's Marvel Legendary. This was 18 last time I did the list, 31 the time before that. So, always within the same more or less thing. I've got so much stuff in here. I made kind of my own sort of insert. I've got room for, I actually have one mini expansion downstairs I got to put in here, and that might be it. Maybe one more mini expansion. Um, this is Marvel Superheroes, the deck building game. It's a great game. It's technically semi co-op, so like you can all lose or you can all win, but one of you wins the most, and that's what semi co-op means. And yeah, I like it. I like the fact that it's semi co-op and that you can still struggle and have one person win. Wait, I already pushed away. Am I done talking about? I guess I'm done talking about. That's number 40, Marvel Legendary. First of three deck builders in this top 10. Number 39 is Nexus Ops. Look at this good old Avalon Hill box. This is an older game that I think is well out of print now. And it's such a weird game. Like, this is an area control game where you have these alien soldiers and you're fighting on this planet for resources like unobtainium. It's not actually unobtainium, but it sounds like it. And you have all these weird little glow in the dark pieces. It's the thing about this game is I'm not always a huge fan of area control, but so look, here's the pink ones, here's the blue ones. In this game, the game is a race to I think 13 points, and you almost only get points by attacking, so you must attack. Like there is no like slow build up in this game. Like no, this takes an hour and a half. It's an all out brawl. If you get a big unit, like you're gonna put them to use right away because it was so expensive to get. You gotta put them to use right away. Um, yeah, I don't play this as much as I'd like to, but it's a great game, and it uses the combat system from Axis and Allies basically, but it works. It works really well in this, especially because there's not nearly as many units as in Axis and Allies. Anyway, that's Nexus Ops. Number 38 was 39 last time, 41 the time before that, so it's always right around this part of the list, and that is Root. This was Amy's favorite game for a while. I'm not sure if it still is or not. In Root, you have these asymmetric factions that are battling over the woodlands. So the art is wonderful and very cute. It's Kyle Farron who does all the art for later games. Yes, later games or is it later games? I can't remember. And then there's these wonderful screen printed minis. The thing about this game is it's so hard to teach and it's so hard to run. So here's one of the factions. Here's the moles. Ooh, my favorite faction, my new favorite faction is the rats. They're great. There are 10 different factions at this point if you have all the expansions, which I do have most of the expansions. I think there's like a couple of solo expansions we don't have. And each faction works differently. So the interesting thing with that is, unless everyone knows the game and knows their faction well, you have to have someone who's paying attention and making sure that everyone follows the rules. And that's usually me. I think I would enjoy the game more if I didn't have to do that, because it's hard. This game is like teaching four games at the same time because yeah, you have the basic rules, but then everyone's bored. Everyone works completely differently, and one player is the vagabond sometimes, and the vagabond doesn't even have like dudes on the map. They got one dude on the map, and they work completely differently. It's so hard to play and run, but it's so good, and that's why it's here, number 38. That's Root. Okay. Number 37 was 23 last time. The time before that was 53. I think last time I actually screwed up and put it on the list twice, so 23 was the higher of the two. That's Castles of Burgundy. Castles of Burgundy is my highest rated game from Stefan Feld, very famous designer. In this game, ooh, things are loose in there, sounds like. You have this little map and you're covering it with these little hexagonal tiles that come in different colors. and the different colors give you points in a different way, or give you different actions, or adjust um, the scoring track, or excuse me, the turn order track, things like that. Stefan Feld is well known for point salad, so all of his games are point salad, which basically means, sorry, he didn't design the game Point Salad, which is a point salad game. It's a confusing thing. Board games, am I right? Um, but basically, in almost all of his games, at least all the ones I've played, every action you do gives you points in some ways. Like just about everything you do gives you some points. It's just, is it going to give you more points to what the actions that your opponents are doing? Yeah, I really like it. It's got a little bit of dice drafting too, and plays surprisingly quick for a pretty heavy game. Although it's not really as heavy as people might think it is. Anyway, Castles of Mad King, oh, excuse me, Castles of Burgundy, number 37. Number 36 is the one I just said, which is Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Look, two castle games right next to each other. Isn't that cute? In this game, so it's very blown up on the back here so you can actually see it. You are drafting these room tiles, which are smaller than this, and they give you points in different ways. So this one, for example, gives you 1 point, but 4 points for each food room connected to it, which this person has 1, so that's 5 points right there. You are paying your opponents for the rooms because one person is the master builder and they set the prices at like the auction each round. And you pay money to them instead of to the box, which is fun. It's not completely closed economy. There's a way to get more money in, um, and there's a way for money to leave. But you're essentially doing this puzzle of trying to get the most points, and it's very physical because you got to space them out in certain ways. And like, let's say you have a room that would go really well, like right here, but then if you or right here, but it doesn't fit because you got this other room right here. So really interesting little puzzles like that. Yeah, I really like this game. This is Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Almost said Castles of Burgundy. Number 35 is one of my favorite abstract games, supposedly as a theme. Supposedly. This is Azul. It was 46 last time, 37 the time before that, always right around here. In Azul, you have these wonderful little tiles that kind of look like Starburst, and you are drafting the tiles and putting them out on your boards to score some points. Theoretically, this game has a theme. Where's one of the yellow ones? Look, delicious. Theoretically, the game has a theme really of like building a wall in like what, Spain or Morocco? Morocco, I think. I don't know. But really, it's just like drafting the pretty tiles and putting them out on your board in certain patterns to score certain points. This plays really well at 2, 3, or 4. The 2-player game is kind of more vicious, just because you're taking actions directly to harm the other player more. Though people also do that in the 3 and 4-player game. Yeah, have a lot of fun playing this 2-player, but I do like it more counts too. But I prefer it at 2-player. I think played this recently with Marianne. We used to play this a lot with Herb. Yeah, great game. Azul, number 35. Number 34 is new to the list. It is a deck builder, and this is Imperium. I have Classics, but there's also Imperium Legends, and Imperium Horizons just came out. So in this box, this is a deck builder. It comes with, I think, 8 different civilizations. Yeah, yes, 8 different civilizations. The new version, Horizons, I think has 16 or 14 or something like that. And this is a very complicated deck builder, possibly the most complicated deck builder I've played. And I've gotten the rules wrong several times, but it's very long. Each of the factions plays very differently, and I love that. I love asymmetric factions. You are essentially, you can attack the other player in some ways, or the other players. I've never played it with more than 2. I don't know that I'd want to. Plays really well solo. The bot that they have listed in the rulebook, it's a different bot for each civilization, so it plays very differently if you're playing against the Celts as opposed to the Carthaginians or something like that. I would be interested in picking up Legends or Horizons, but there's a lot of content with just 8 civilizations, and like a game playing the Celts against the Romans is very different than playing the Celts against the who else is in here? The Vikings. Celts against the Vikings. Actually, I should play that one. That sounds interesting. Yeah, Imperium Classics. Also new to the list. Also a deck builder, number 33, Mystic Vale. Uh, Mystic Vale is from John D. Clare, who I thought I didn't like his games because I can't stand space base, but man, this is good. This game has clear cards, and you deck build not by adding cards to your deck, but by adding faces to your sleeves. I wonder if I can even show this to you. It's so weird. So you'll have your starting cards. There'll be something like this. And then you'll have these other cards you can get, which you can, that one's a bad example, which you can add in to improve this actual card. So you start with this Cursed Land, for example, here, and let's say you buy this face, you'll slide it in there, and now your card is better. That's wild. It's such a different take on deck building. I've only played it the one time, and it's pretty darn high on the list for having only played it the one time. But I gotta play this more. This is just one of those deck builders I never think about, but the one I do think about it, I'm like, yeah, amazing. What a great card. Oh, they call it the card. What a great game. They call it the card crafting system. I think there's a pirate game that came out recently with a similar sort of card crafting system. Really gotta try that one too. In the meantime, number 33, Mystic Vale. Number 32 was 94 last time, 65 the time before that. And so this has popped way back up the list, and this is Lost Cities. I think there was just a time there where I didn't play it very much. This is one of the best two-player games. It's from Reiner Knizia. You have these expeditions, and you're playing cards to move up these expeditions, and it's so hard to explain, but it's not hard to teach. It's hard to understand the strategy because you're like, oh, well, my opponent might want that, so I can't discard that. And you have a handful of 8 cards, and you would think there'd be plenty of options, but in reality, you're like, oh, these are all terrible options. I used to give this game to people for a wedding gift because it's a great two-player game. But heck, I might still do that. Yeah, I got a cousin whose wedding's coming up, so John, this might be in your future. Actually, I don't know if you own this game. Uh, yeah, one of the best two-player games. That's Lost Cities, number 32. And finally, number 31 has dropped. It was 20 last time, 12 the time before that. And that is Seven Wonders. I think one of the reasons it's dropped is I've just played it so much, I've gotten a little tired of it. Seven Wonders is the drafting game, in my opinion. This is the game where when you think of what's a good drafting game, the first one comes to my head, Seven Wonders. You have a handful of cards, you take one, play it, pass the rest to your neighbor, choose a new card from the new hand. There are 3 different ages, and you're kind of doing civilization building. The theme's there a little bit. It's got some good expansions. It's got a second edition. This is the first edition. I only have the cities expansion, which is, in my opinion, a great, the best of them. But I like leaders too. I just haven't played it in years. This is another game that used to be Amy's favorite. I don't know if it still is. It might be, but I don't think so. Yeah, it's the only real issue I have with this game, other than playing it too much, is it's harder to teach people than you would think. Because the strategy is not evident on the first age cards. So people think of this as a gateway game. I do not. Don't think it's a gateway game, but it is a great game and plays well up to 7, even 8 if you have the cities expansion. And with the same amount of time, I played a 7-player game of that in 15 minutes before, which is amazing. Anyway, that's 40 through 31. Hope you enjoyed. And I've got 3 more of these to do. I don't know if I'm going to make it by the end of February because I'm going to be got some stuff going on, but we will see. Stay tuned for more great games. Bye.